श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। श्रुतिस्मृति आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ नमो भगवते रमणाय। भावशून्य सद्भावसुस्थितिः भावना बलात् भक्तिरुत्तमा। The first line is a single compound. You may not want to say bhava shunya sat bhava susthiti. That is not the way to chant it. You have to say it all. Uttama bhakti. The Maharshi, he talks of the supreme devotion. That is how it is translated. Uttama bhakti. We are looking at this word Uttama quite a few times already. So Utu Uttara Uttama. So there are all kinds of bhaktis. But we have to come to the Uttama bhakti, the supreme devotion. In all these cases, we come to the thing by negation. We come in the negative way. We do not come in the positive way. I give you an example. See whether you appreciate it. I asked a Mahatma, what is religion? That is what I asked. What is religion? So I was examining this issue of the religion practiced by the masses, which is before us. It is very difficult to understand a large chunk of it. And then the importance of religion in people's lives. Therefore I asked him, what is religion? Then he gave an answer that was stunning to me. He made me think so much. His answer is most unexpected answer. In one way, impossible answer. That, like I said, impossible question, impossible answer. He told me, suppose I answer to you your question very positively, assume. So I answer your question in a positive way. So I will be telling you my version of religion to you. Only that, nothing else. And if you go to some other Mahatma and ask him the same question, he will tell you his version of religion. Therefore, the question is wrong. Because you don't get anything meaningful as a reply. You get the so-called positive reply will be a particular concept of God, a particular sectarian worship of God. That is all you will get. If you ask a Shaiva, go to a Shaiva Matha and ask what is religion, you know what they will tell. And if you go to a Vaishnava, now they will start putting Nama to you right away. So that is their version of religion. So therefore, and then there are these Upasakas, the Tantra people. They have a very unusual version of religion. So the question is wrong. That is not how to question. Then I asked him, then what should I ask the question? You have to ask, what is not religion? Oh my God. Because to what is religion, neither he has to think nor you have to think. Because it is all worked out for him and it is sitting there and it is part of tradition, he has to blurt it out. And you have to start believing it. Neither he thinks nor you think. You followed? But when you say, what is not religion, he has to answer, he has to think, and I have to think. This is something. So by then, he said further, by knowing what is not religion, you come to true religion. That is the beauty of it. So similarly, what is love? In the first camp I discussed it, in one particular way I discussed it. I am not sure whether I will discuss the same way, but What is not love? By understanding what is not love, you come to true love. Bhakti is love. Bhakti is love. So could you appreciate that the spirit of asking the question, what is not love? What is not religion? That is the way you should proceed. So bhakti is love. Now, love of what? Love of God. That is what you have to say, bhakti. You cannot say, I love golden ornaments, so therefore that is bhakti. You do not say like that. So love of God. But then what is God? Ashtamurti Bhruta, that is what we are talking about. So the entire world is an appearance on the substratum of God, which means God alone is appearing as the world. Like in the movie, the light appears as the scenes on the screen. Similarly, God appears as the world. And therefore, love of God translates as love of all. When it is love of something, you have to specify. But when it is love of all, you need not specify. You can simply say love. Therefore, bhakti is love. And love is God. Premaye daivamu, like that we say in Telugu. Love is God. You see, you want to experience God, you want to commune with God, is that what you want? Then see that there is love in your thought, there is love in your speech, and there is love in action. That is how God expresses. God doesn't express suddenly appearing as some flash before you. That is the story. Okay? Therefore, what is love? So, it is like a fragrance of a flower. Fragrance of a flower is fragrance for all. It is not denied to anybody, it is not given in particular to someone. Therefore, you don't call it fragrance to all, you simply call it fragrance. Similarly, love of all, we simply call it love. You need not specify love of all, nor you specify as love of God. Love, that is bhakti. So, bhakti uttama. So, first thing, love. So, what I was saying, by defining bhakti, the supreme devotion, in a way he defines love itself. That is bhakti, And so, I remember what I was saying in the first camp. Bhakti is not an action. Bhakti is not an emotion. Bhakti is not an intellection. Like that I was saying. So, now let us see what is this Uttama Bhakti, the supreme devotion. I was standing in a park where there were many plants which are in full bloom, full of flowers, all these plants. Then a young lady walked in. Just I am imagining an anecdote, okay? All the anecdotes need not be what really happened. I can spin anecdotes also to fit to the occasion. So a young lady walked in, very graceful young lady walked in. And she looked at the flowers, and there was a smile and a glow on her face, because flowers have a very special attraction to all, in particular to women, I suppose. And then she gracefully took out one flower and put it in her dress. Very gracefully she put it. Okay? That is she plucked the flower, but yet it's a simple act of violence, true. But the grace with which she plucked it, and then the grace with which she put it in her dresses, and then there is a nice appearance and all that. So that all of that grace covered the violence, okay, in a way. And I suppose it is allowed. It is allowed. So the flower will wither anyway. Instead of withering on the plant, it will wither in her tresses. And so while withering also, it will spread the grace a bit around. So there is a beauty in it. I suppose so. I have a poetic heart, please don't find fault with me. Then, so she left. Then some 3-4 these vagabonds came, these youngsters, the jean pant, very short shirt, these fellows, and jumping, talking loudly. You come across these groups all the time, you know. One such group came. They came near a plant, and everyone started plucking 2, 3, 4 flowers. And then having plucked, what they will do? Will they put in there is no trust for them, you know. It is not for them to do that. So they were playing with the flowers, like this, something. And then they have crumpled the flowers after a while. They were busy with their activity in the process. Consciously or unconsciously, they crumpled these flowers and threw aside, and then they moved on. See the insensitivity of these young people. They were not plucking the flowers to offer to any god or any such thing. Just they were thoughtlessly tearing off the flowers. There is no thought involved. They are not doing it with a particular deliberation or any such thing. Tearing off thoughtlessly and throwing them away. I was wondering, why should they do it? Why should they do it? So thoughtless a thing. Sometimes even elders do that, I suppose. While walking, you suddenly have a branch of tree bending and you pull it and pluck a branch and then do this way, that way, and then throw it out. Even elders do that. So it occurred to me, so when you think, why such a thoughtless action? So in a way, consciously and unconsciously, the inner brutality is expressing itself. That is what I thought. And this appalling disrespect for living things, the inner brutality, it is expressing itself. You have to say like that. Okay. So that is how things are. I see this all the time, this brutality. They plant a tree, plants saplings on the roadside, and all these young guys, and even some of our middle-aged and old guys, while going, that sapling is struggling to survive in a very unfavorable circumstance on the roadside. Still it is struggling to survive. They pluck its branch or flower or leaf. They do that. And after some time, because of this utter senseless insensitivity of people, the plant dies also, and it withers away and it dries up. It happens. Okay. Then those people left. Now a sannyasi came there. He was holding a basket, the bamboo made basket. He was holding it in his hand. And then he saw the plants in bloom, full of flowers. And then he started walking more briskly. He was normally walking, but the moment he saw, the step has become swifter all by itself. And there was greed in. I was looking at him, my God, what will he is going to do? That basket is there in his hand. And then I could see there is a greed in his eyes. Looking at he did not look at me, he was looking at all those flowers. And then he went in an attacking mode. And there was greed in his eyes for flowers. Started picking every flower within reach. And flowers were very lovely, tender things. They were just opening to the rising sun or the morning sun. Morning 9 o'clock or so, just blooming, opening to the sun's rays. Very tender things, And I noticed that he is not picking them gently. He was tearing them off. And those flowers which he could not reach, he holds the branch at the base and bends it. With the other hand reaches to the flower. And he was successful in doing that. But then he leaves the branch, it goes up. But one or two times, in his anxiety to reach to the flower, he bends the branch a little more, and then it snaps. The branch is broken. He doesn't care for it. He just leaves it there. But he managed to fill his basket. And then he walked away. He is going to offer all these flowers to a graven image. That is what he is going to do. Now I ask you, you please decide, and if you want to share your thoughts with me, I will be glad. Do you want to call that bhakti? Is that bhakti? So tell me. So, you do not touch the plant. Do not disturb it. You should respect all life. That is simple love. That is simple love. So, not the complex love preached by the dualistic religions. You should have that simple love which respects all living things. Very simple. There is not. Whereas the complex love that these dualistic religions preach, that is not the supreme devotion. You want to put it in some category of devotion, go ahead and do that. That simple love, you don't call it love of God. You need not call it love of God. You just call it love. That is the true devotion. Therefore, you arrive at it carefully by a negative description. Therefore, just love. Be tender, gentle in your approach to all things. That is love, the sensitivity, the alertness not to do any harm to any living thing, much less people. That alertness to animals, to flowers. We just don't want to hurt or harm. You don't want to touch. You see, once I was standing and felt like standing for a while. There was a tree. Felt like leaning upon it, because that makes standing a little easier. The posture is also shifted, makes you a little more comfortable. So I almost went and started leaning. It was a good tree, a strong tree. But then it occurred to me, should I? Suppose the tree wants to lean upon me, would I accept it? Or somebody else comes there, an elderly person, he wants to lean upon me. Will I be able to hold on to that? I should understand. I should ask the permission from the tree. I should ask its permission. There is no way of asking permission from the tree. Therefore, I took back. I have withdrawn. I did not lean upon the tree. I stand upon my feet. If I find it difficult, I sit. But leaning upon the tree, you should overcome some sensitivity to do that. So that kind of tender feeling for other things, to be sensitive, to feel for people, to feel for birds, to feel for flowers, to feel for trees. Not because they are, some people, they have a garden, my garden. And then my roses, look at that, my rose plants. So you put 2-3 rose plants, they are my rose plants. I care for them. And therefore, I have love for them, because they are mine. No, that is not bhakti, that is not love. You respect all life, not because some life is yours, no, not that way. So, you got the point? Once you introduced the mind there, now the whole discussion went out of direction. Wrong, not like that. Some people, they show a lot of care and love for the dog because it is my dog. You look at that. Not like that. So, but just because you are aware, you are tender and you are sensitive, or you are awake to the extraordinary beauty of things. You are awake to that, Jagrata, Jagarukaha. And therefore, you don't hurt, you don't touch, you don't harm. The bhakti must be like that. I say that Uttama Bhakti, in the context of dualistic religions, the way they practice love, there is appalling violence against animals. They use elephants. There are big reports about it. Elephants they use to worship God, and those elephants, they were subjected to horrific violence to tame them. They adopt very painful procedures to tame the wild elephant. It is a wild elephant, and now it is tamed. If it shows its strength, lions will run away. Now the poor elephant is tamed. And this trainer, he was having a goad in his hand, and he stands by his side, and the elephant knows him, and he sees the goad in his hand and knows also what is its significance. And the elephant is tied with the thick iron shackles which have torn into its flesh on the legs, and there are marks on its leg which were healed, and still the iron shackles remain in place. And this elephant, you put big facial marks to the elephant. You put all the marks to your face. Why should you do it for an elephant? Did you ask the elephant, oh elephant, putting these marks, God will be very pleased, shall I put to you? Then if the elephant says, yes, I too want to put these things because God will be pleased, then you should put. Without taking its permission, put all kinds of facial marks to the elephant and put all kinds of alankara to that. And then the priest mounts on it with a photograph or a graven image and takes it around. Do you want to call it religion? Do you want to call it bhakti? Why it is not there? Why people don't know what is love of God? They don't know, I suggest. So, the moment you are deeply sensitive, you naturally do not pluck the flowers. There is a spontaneous desire and effort not to destroy anything, not to hurt the living, which means you have real love. So you have to understand bhakti correctly. Therefore, the love is the most important thing in life. Bhakti is the most important thing in life. So, that is, suppose in human relations also, you love a person because he loves you in return. Surely that is not love. So this to love truly is to have this extraordinary feeling of affection or love without seeking or asking anything in return. That is the love. Whether you have it in a relation or whether you call it your love for God, one and the same, because human form is a form of God only. Therefore, that is the true love. So, you see, suppose you may be very intelligent, clever, you may pass all your examinations, get a post-graduation degree or even a doctorate, and then achieve a high position in a big multinational company or an organization. But if you do not have this sensitivity, if you do not have this simple feeling of love, your heart will be empty and you will be miserable for the rest of your life. That is how this world is, this crazy world is. So, it is very important to have that pure, simple love, simple. I love God, therefore hurt animals, pluck flowers, uproot plants. That is not love. That kind of complex love of the dualistic religions, I am amazed. How can you practice that? I am amazed, I tell you. If you want to give a label to me, I don't mind. I will accept any label that you try to give to me. I don't mind at all. But I am certainly amazed at you, that you are able to practice such things of dualistic religions where there is no sensitivity in the name of a complex imagined love for God. So also you may be very good looking, and then you may have a very good dress, have a nice face, and be a great athlete, or respected in the society for the high position that you may occupy. But suppose there is no love in your heart, the love that I am speaking about, suppose you do not have in your heart, then you are an ugly human being. Really. Therefore, when you love truly, when you have this simple love in your heart, it doesn't matter whether your face is beautiful or not. There is a radiance of that love. The love has a radiance. And so to love is the greatest thing in life. To feel that love, to nourish it, to treasure it, is the greatest achievement in life. So, this extraordinary thing called love, if you have it in your heart, you will discover the truth. And for you, the world is transformed. So, you have to understand the glory of love, the simple love, the simple tenderness, the simple sensitivity, the pure love shown towards the other person in a relationship without seeking anything in return. And if it is time to offer a prayer or perform a ritual to a form of God, you have a very similar love for God. You see, God is not a thing. You say a prayer and you have that simple love for the act of prayer, for the words of prayer, for the meaning of prayer, for the feelings that prayer invokes in your heart. That love, that is God. So, therefore, Uttama Bhakti. Now, how to arrive at that kind of love? How to arrive? How to discover it in your heart? So, Bhavana Balat. Bhakti Uttama. Bhavana Balat means, so the Tikakara says, Abheda Anusandhana Samskara Prabalyat. So you have to contemplate this progression, you know. When you contemplate on that non-dualistic truth, Soham, that is the contemplation. So as you continue with that contemplation, so you started with the dualistic upasana, and then you come to Abheda Dhyanam, Soham, Arahamasmi, Arum. That helps you mature into that supreme love. Bhavana Balat Bhakti Uttama. So, this kind of bhakti, this kind of love, is also, you get it by that contemplation, and when you get it, how it feels. So, what kind of a state it is. sthitihi. The word sthiti and the state, they are very similar. Stand. Sthiti, stay or state. So you stay there. So I have described the pure love, but now how do you arrive at it? I told you how to arrive also, but then you have to grow into it, So we have considered what is true love, but now we have to consider how to grow into it. So the way of growing is already bhavana balat, that soham, or omkara, or ahamasmi. So three things I have in mind at this point of time as part of the verse that is covered. With the help of these three practices, if you may say so, if you may call them like that, you can grow into this love. So now I will introduce another way of arriving at that love. So that is bhava shunya sadbhava susthitihi. That is what we are looking at. You see, what is meditation? This is all meditation, The verse number 7, 8, 9, it is all meditation. And when you said pujanam, that is also meditation. So what you call pujanam, that is not very different from meditation also, Here it is all meditation. In Vedanta, you don't go so much after the ritualistic karma. That may have some place probably, but you meditate. Like the sun is rising, you stand on the bank of Ganga and offer argyam to sun. It is in a way ritual, you can call it a ritual, but it is such a simple ritual, such a simple thing. It doesn't require any preparation whatsoever. It doesn't require any goods to be collected from here and there. And it just requires love in your heart, a little alertness to be there at the right time, and pick up the water and offer to the rising sun with a sense of feeling of devotion to God. So it is a very simple ritual, if you want to call it a ritual. But then the ritual is so simple, the spirit behind is so powerful, you can call it a meditation. So anyway, bhava shunya sadbhava susthitihi. So what is bhakti? Is it an act of worship? An act of worship you want to call it bhakti? I suppose not. Act of worship is called karma. And you must have that love in your heart. They call it devotion. You see, when you call it devotion, somehow it sounds as if it is different from love. So what you call devotion, is it not love? Is it not love? No, love sounds like worldly. Whereas devotion sounds like spiritual or religious, right? Now you have to think about it. So Satvasmin Parama Prema Rupa, like that there is a sutra, Bhakti. This Bhakti, Atha Bhakti Yakhyāsyāmaha. Satvasmin Parama Prema Rupa. So this is the love, supreme love. Love towards whom? Asmin. That Asmin is very significant. Asmin is the God who appears in the form of the Jagat. That is the Asmin. Because idam saptami is Asmin. Idam always refers to the Jagat. So Bhagavan appearing as Jagat before you, that is the idam, that is the Asmin. And so we have come to the same point, Therefore, the word love, you may not want to have some resistance or some kind of ambivalence about that word. You should be able to embrace that word. Okay? So, the love that we talk about is not lust. It's not cupidity. It is a lot more than, it is not any one of them. You come to it very cautiously. I have shown you how to come to it in one way. Now I will look at it in a slightly different way. An act of worship, is it bhakti? Is it love? They call it devotion. They don't call it love. That is what I was saying. So, it is only an action, a specific action. If there is love in the heart, which inspired you to perform that action, that act of worship, then that act of worship is sacred. It is made sacred by the love that inspired that particular action. Suppose there is no love in your heart, you are doing it mechanically, or you are doing it for commercial reasons, then what is it? Do you want to call it bhakti? I suppose not. Therefore, in whichever case, whatever may be the case, action itself is not love. You cannot claim that the action is performed with love. That way you can claim. That is all you can claim. You cannot say action itself is love. Therefore we perform a ritual and say that is love. No. Action is not love. Then go a little deeper. Emotion. Is that love? Emotion is not love. Emotionalism is very difficult thing it is. So, there is always a physical component for the emotionalism, a physical component. The physical expression, not component or expression. Like there are tears in the eyes. That is a physical expression of an emotion. And so the voice becomes hoarse or whatever. And then hair stands on its end. Some people may even shake. And sometimes these things go to the extreme in our society in the name of God possessing. God possesses. What is it? Evil spirit possesses. What is the evil spirit? Your mind. Your mind is the evil spirit, nothing else. There are no evil spirits. Unless you say the cell phone is an evil spirit. That is the only evil spirit I recognize. I don't recognize any other evil spirits. When I was doing Sandhyavandanam, I used to say Bhota Preta Pishachaha. So Uttishtantu Bhota Pishachaha. Then I asked my father, when I was studying Vedanta, I asked Swami, what is this Bhota Pishachaha? Now there is Atma, which is Brahma, but in between is Bhota and Pishacha, evil spirits, Bhota Pishacha. You know what he told me? Hey, you wanted, you couldn't say it, otherwise you drop it. Now you go. Okay, I dropped. So what is this Bhota Pishacha? Who are the Bhota Pishachas? So those people whom we don't like, you have to put them into the category of Bhota Pishacha. Yeah? I was walking on that place some time back. There I was walking. Somebody beckoned me from a distance. Yes, Swami. So I stopped. And the person came near me. Swami, I want to ask you a question. I said, okay, go ahead, please. So, you see, I sincerely feel that an evil spirit is sent by someone who is my enemy to me. And that evil spirit is likely to hurt me. And so, do you have any particular suggestion for that? That is the question asked. I was stunned that somebody could ask such a question. Then I asked, why do you think that I am capable of answering your question? So I have a very simple tongue and I may not be able to answer your question. But then, I'm not sure whether you are open to listen to what I am going to say and answer. Therefore, I am very hesitant to answer to your question. In any case, you tell me what is your background? Educational background. Because I wanted to know how much you studied. the person will be, shall I tell you the answer given? Then don't hold it against me later. And don't tell anybody outside also. To protect me. Shall I tell the answer? The answer which the person gave me, I am telling. I don't tell lies. The answer given is, what is your educational background? I have done degree. Degree would be BA, BCom or BSc. I don't know which degree it is. And I have done 3-year Vedanta course. You know what I said? I did not care anymore. I said you should be ashamed of yourself for asking such a question. Having done 3-year Vedanta course, you ask such a question? Huh? What Vedanta you are talking about? The only answer I can give to you is, you are totally deluded. The only suggestion that I can give you is, I have a class tomorrow morning at 9. Come to the class. Can you believe it? Can you believe that people can stay with that kind of a thinking? So in the display of religion on the streets, there is a display of religion on the streets. I will tell you a simple principle. When you take a religious procession, you take a procession in the name of religion, a religious procession, it is no more true religion, because the psychology behind the religious procession is conquest. That is what it is. Think about it. Did you get what I said? Okay, I hope so. Okay. Therefore, the emotionalism which is put on display, it is very bad. It is rajasic. More often than not, it is tamasic. These religious practices, you have to look into all that. I am not condemning anybody. I am just examining in the context of bhakti ruttama. Therefore, emotions are not bhakti. The emotions, the emotions they turn against. So, a shishya, a disciple, male or female, at one time totally devoted to the Guru. Devoted means what? You stop all thinking. Now Guru will take care of everything. Total stopping of thinking. You don't think anything. Guru will take care. Under total servitude, not service. You have to do service to the Guru, not servitude. And you have to be independent even while doing service to the Guru. Suppose you become psychologically dependent on the Guru and you do service, that will be a great punishment to the Guru. It is not service. The Guru cannot disown you because you are doing so much service, and he knows that you are evoking psychological dependence. It is a bane of Gurudom. And so this person who is so servile to the Guru and trying to do more service and more service and more service, very emotional, etc., when the Guru is unable to live up to the expectation of the disciple, then the entire emotion turns to the other direction and the person becomes hateful of the same person, same Guru. Guru is the same Guru, poor Guru. The sitting duck is the same Guru. So, you want to call emotionalism as devotion or love? It is not. And all this emotionalism which is on display on religious occasions, in religious processions, etc., the religious procession itself is not part of true religion. It has a different dynamic altogether. Religion cannot be or should not be public display. It should be private communion. Therefore, anyway, I have digressed or expanded a little. You call it digression or you call it dilation, whatever name you want to give to it. So the point that I am trying to make is emotionalism is not bhakti. That is the point I want to make. Then intellection. Is that bhakti? No. It is not bhakti. Intellectual people are in the head, they are the head people. So we were born as heart people and then we grow into head people and now you have to further grow into heart people. Now it is not ascendance, it is descendance now. Now it is not Mooladhara to up, going here, no. That you dismiss. Now it is from the head to the heart you have to descend. Ramana Maharshi used to say, talking about this ascendance, Appa, it is descendance now. You have to come from head to heart. He used to say that. Therefore, so you have to, the intellectuals are the head people. They have all the logic of the world, but no love of the heart. They don't have love. You see, once what happened, I was talking about logic versus love. Then, you see, this is my prarabdha, I suppose. I was saying love is supreme, logic will not help you, it will bind you, this and that. One person, what he said, he went outside and said, Swami, TV asks us to be logical. That is what he said. I was stunned. Why I was stunned? Not that he said something against me, that doesn't disturb me. I was stunned because what a way of misunderstanding. Oh my God, this kind of misunderstanding could be there among the people. I was comparing logic and love. What be loving, not logical all the time. With your fiancé or with your spouse, don't be logical. Be love, be loving. Am I suggesting you to be illogical? Am I suggesting? If you don't know the difference, then you are not fit for the subtle aspects of life. Therefore, love is not intellection. That is the point I am trying to make. Then what is love? So what is behind karma? Manaha. Then manaha dismissed. What is behind manaha? Buddhi. Dismiss that. Then what is behind buddhi? The pure sense of being. Ahamasmi. That sense of being. Sat. That sense. Sat. And you abide in that sat. Sadbhava susthitihi. That is love. You may not expect such a description of love, such a description of bhakti. So now what is bhakti? Uttama bhakti, supreme devotion, which is same as love. When I say love, I need not add any term to that. It stands on its own. I only have to say what it is not, which I have already said. Therefore that love, which is supreme in all at all times, so that